We dedicate these moments to God and to the power of silence, not to many words, not to argument, but to that stillness in which the word already abides. Be quiet within. Be still and know that I am God. It is not by might, not by power, but by the grace that flows when we stop reaching and begin receiving. The power of God is made manifest in the silence. Therefore, we set our intention now to listen, to yield, to let the presence reveal itself as our life, our breath, our being. We begin this day with a reframe. God is the only power. There are not two. No person, email, market, germ, memory, or mood can oppose the infinite. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Let the mind rest in this. Nothing has causative authority but God. Cause is spirit. Effect is harmony. We need to have no fear. We stand under the government of one. We shall, in due course, touch 7 pauses, 7 doorways, 1 presence. Waking before the first message, walking the hallway before food or coffee, before speaking in mid-afternoon weariness, and at night's return. Yet understand the thread, not 7 tasks added to a crowded list, but one continuous stillness, promise bracketed, moving with us closer than breath, nearer than hands and feet. We are not manufacturing presence. We are recognizing it. We are not managing life. We are yielding to life, that is God, unfolding itself as ordinariness transfigured, identity first. I and the Father are one. Say it softly, not to persuade, but to recognize. This awareness right here, where you are, is the temple of the living God. In him we live and move and have our being. From the first chapter of Genesis, we do not deviate. All that God made is good and very good. Here also the assurance, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Robed in spirit, not armored against a foe, but resting in oneness, we accept our sonship, our inheritance of quiet dominion. So we adopt promise consciousness, not problem consciousness. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. Let these be the brackets, and between them, silence. After the word, we wait. The word does the work. We do not add anything today. We awaken. We begin not as a person with a day to manage, but as presence appearing as this day. Be still, yield, listen, and let the peace carry us from now through every threshold. Amen. Now we come to the simple secret without theatrics and without strain. It is not the reciting of truth, not the brilliance of the statement, not the intensity of the mind, but the silence that follows the word that does the work. The word is a door. The silence is the presence stepping through. We speak only enough to clear the mist of belief. Then we grow quiet and let God be God. Be still and know that I am God. God is the only power. The power of God is made manifest in the silence that follows. This is our method. Each pause is promise bracketed, a brief assurance, then 10 to 20 seconds of receptive stillness. The promise might be as gentle as a breath. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Or, lo, I am with you always. Or simply, I and the Father are one. Then hush, not another phrase, not a push, just the inner door open, just the heart unguarded. Let the word turn from sound into awareness. The seal is not in the syllables. The seal is in the hush after them. Not by might, not by power, not by personal will, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Soften the gaze. Do not drill the heavens with your eyes. Let the breath be natural. Do not tug at life. Listen beneath thought for the still small voice that needs no sound to be heard. The moment the promise is whispered, withdraw the hand of mental effort. Be very silent. We are not trying to make something happen. We are consenting to what already is. Right here, within, is the temple of the living God, closer than breath, nearer than hands and feet. After the promise, let Spirit place the seal on the word. My word shall not return unto me void, not because we hammer it, but because we yield to it. God is the only power. Therefore, we do not argue with appearances. We do not plead with circumstances. We rest. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. We do not test the promise. We let the promise test us, quieting agitation, dissolving the belief in two powers, revealing the one. And so it is. If you wish a measure for the mind, let it be simple. The length of 2 or 3 easy breaths, 10 heartbeats, in which you do nothing but allow. Say within, the Spirit of God is upon me, and let the sentence fade into living presence. Say, in him I live and move and have my being. Then drop every handle of effort and be still. The silence that follows the promise carries the promise from letter to life. It is there, the burden falls from the shoulder. It is there, fear finds no foothold. It is there, the day is consecrated without another sound. God is the only power, and the silence after the word reveals it. Now then, let us map the way presence threads itself through an ordinary day, not as 7 chores, but as 7 doorways opening into one sanctuary. Wake, inbox, walking the hallway, nourishment, speaking, mid-afternoon, night return, many thresholds, one river. In him we live and move and have our being. We step to each doorway with a brief promise, then we consent to silence. 10 to 20 seconds is enough, 2 or 3 easy breaths in which the belief in two powers loosens and the awareness of one becomes tangible. God is the only power. Let that refrain walk ahead of you like a pillar of quiet for this very hour. At the waking threshold, before you rise to meet a world, meet the I am, not a person with a plan, but presence appearing as this day. Whisper, I and the Father are one, and then be still. No shaping of the day, no bargaining with time, just consent. The room is the temple of the living God because you are awareness of God. The seal will be in the hush after the word, before the first email. Remember, the inbox is not a power. Bandwidth, deadlines, and names on screens have no causation. Say gently, God is the only power. I will never leave you nor forsake you, and close the inner lips. 10 heartbeats. Let action be governed by presence, not by the undertow of urgency. You will answer from authority, not anxiety. Between doors and hallways, let movement itself be communion. Walking becomes prayer. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. No pushing of thought. The steps carry you in God. Before food or coffee, honor the giver, not the thing. Every good and perfect gift is from above. Pause until you feel gratitude without object, then receive what is set before you as the form that grace wears. Before speaking, yield the tongue. Let the Father speak. Open thou my lips, and be silent inside until the word rises without strain. Speech born of stillness carries no bruise. In mid-afternoon weariness, refuse resistance. Rest, do not wrestle. Come unto me, and I will give you rest. Close your eyes if you can. If not, close the inward eye. Be held. At night's return, gather all threads into oneness. Thou, Lord, only makest me dwell in safety. Lay the day back into the source, and be quiet. Many pauses, one river. Tiny, repeatable consent turns into steadiness, not by might, not by argument, but by realized moments of stillness. God is the only power, and the refrain accompanies emails, errands, and noise until the pauses blur into continuity and the day walks itself in God. When the first glimmer of awareness returns from sleep, do not reach for the world. Do not reach for the phone, the clock, the weight of yesterday. Remain a moment on the holy threshold. Let waking itself be worship. Before a thought of managing the day, let the day find you already given. Be still and know that I am God. God is the only power. The same life that watched while you slept is the life that now looks through your eyes, breathes your breath, and calls you by name. Place a hand lightly over the heart, not as a charm, but as recognition. This is the temple of the living God. Whisper, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Whisper, I and the Father are one. Then hush 10, 20 seconds in which you neither reach nor resist. No push, no plan, just the soft listening for the still small voice. Let the promise sink below the words. Let presence announce itself. The seal is not in repetition, but in the silence after. In that hush, the belief in two powers loosens. Anticipations have no authority, clocks have no dominion, inboxes have no power. God is the only power. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. If a thought of lack or pressure appears, let it pass as mist before the sun. Do not argue. Rest. Give us this day our daily bread becomes a fact, not a plea. Supply is the nature of the one unfolding as the hours. When you feel the inner nod, now let the eyes open or the body rise gently as one who has been addressed by love. Carry a single word instead of a list. Thank you. Thank you walks you to the sink, to the closet, to the door. Thank you puts on the robe of spirit. You are clothed, not armored against a foe, but robed in presence. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Lo, I am with you always. Movement begins within God, and as God, in him you live and move and have your being. Should the mind rush forward, return for one more breath to the temple within, hand to heart, recognition of I am. Begin as presence, not as a person with a day to manage. Before Abraham was, I am. Identity precedes activity. From this threshold we cross into the hours as the son in the house, not the servant in the yard. Quiet, surrendered confidence goes before you. The day is already holy because God is the day's life. Rise softly and let the unspoken amen go with you. Here is the second doorway. The hand hovers. The cursor rests above the inbox. The heart leans forward as if a wave were about to break. This is the very point of pivot from reactivity to receptivity. Do not open yet. Remember, God is the only power. Messages are not a power. Subject lines are not a power. Deadlines, opinions, requests, none of these are causes. They are only effects appearing on a screen. Fear tries to rush the hand. Habit tries to hurry the eye. Right here, before the first click, claim your holy jurisdiction. I stand in God, therefore nothing outside can rule me. We are not persons besieged by tasks. We are presence, and presence governs action. Make the promise your bracket. Whisper within, no weapon that is formed against me shall prosper. The Spirit of God is upon me. That is enough. Now be very silent. Soften the shoulders. Let the brow unknit. Release the belly. Allow 2 or 3 easy breaths, 10 heartbeats in which you receive, not perform. Be still and know that I am God. The letters on the screen do not move this universe. The silence does. Withdraw the hand of mental effort and let the word ripen into awareness. Closer than breath, the indwelling presence announces itself without sound. God is the only power. Let that sentence fade into living quiet and let the quiet do the work. Now then, we deny the masquerade without quarreling with it. Emails, calendars, clocks, these parade as causes, but belief alone animates them. Disease is not a power, neither is a deadline. The only reason a message can bruise is the acceptance of a second power. Right here, the ancient assurance holds. I and the Father are one. I will never leave you nor forsake you. This awareness, this listening, is the temple of the living God. In him we live and move and have our being. You cannot go anywhere to find it, nor can you leave it behind. You can only consent to it as now. When the hush has sealed the promise, proceed robed in spirit, open from peace, not from pressure. You are not trying to win the day. You are allowing the day of the Lord to appear as order, as right word and right restraint. Let the Father speak before you type. Let grace be the editor. If a thorned sentence shows itself, it will wither before the atmosphere of silence. If there is much to do, there is still only one to be. Carry the refrain as you work. God is the only power, and the inbox will be revealed not as a threat, but as a river of occasions for love to act. Between doors and hallways, let us discover the sanctuary that moves with us. The threshold of a room, the elevator bell, the crosswalk signal, each is a small altar if we remember. Do not rush the hinge. Let the hand touch the knob as one who touches holy things. In God we live and move and have our being. Make that the promise. As a foot lifts, whisper within, God is the only power, and then close the inner lips. Let the word fall into silence while you keep walking. Movement itself is communion. Do you see how gentle this is? 10 to 20 seconds while the body flows, 4, 6, 10 steps, no effort, no counting, no watching the clock. Let the timing be given. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. The corridor becomes the temple of the living God because you are aware of God in the corridor. Doors, schedules, voices, announcements, none of these are powers. God is the only power. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Take the next step inside that light and be still within. If the crowd presses, if machinery hums, if weather turns, treat none of it as a second power. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. The hallway is not outside of God. The street is not outside of God. In him, this step arises. In him, it lands. Lift the foot with a promise, set it down in the hush. The Spirit of God is upon me. Then walk on, robed and, yes, armored in spirit, not against an enemy, but as the radiance of one. Feel the robe fall over the shoulders, dignity without stiffness, softness without weakness. This is not pretense. This is remembrance. I will never leave you nor forsake you. No jostle can dislodge you from oneness. No hallway can narrow infinity. No elevator can lower or lift the infinite. God is the only power. As you cross a threshold, let the inward silence escort you 2, 3 breaths, until you notice peace walking before you like a quiet pillar. Then action proceeds from presence. Emails, meetings, errands will meet you already under the government of one. Make this a sacrament of motion. Each doorway is a queue, each hallway a nave. He shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. Do not strain to feel something holy. Consent Whisper the promise as the foot lifts. Let silence receive it as the foot sets down. In God we live and move and have our being. Walk on. The temple walks. Presence carries you. Before the hand closes around the cup or reaches for the plate, pause on this small altar. The aroma rises. The spoon rings. The hunger answers, yet remember the giver, not the thing we receive from God, not from objects. God is the only power. Supply is not in beans or grain, not in cream, sugar, protein, or heat. Supply is the presence itself unfolding as enough and to spare. Whisper the ancient promise. Thou preparest a table before me, my cup runs over. Then do not add another line. Let the word open the door and step back inside the hush. 10 to 20 seconds. 2, 3 gentle breaths. Gratitude without dependence. Be still and know that I am God. Every good and perfect gift is from above, not pressed out of matter, but given of grace. The power of God is made manifest in the silence after the word. In that silence, the belief that this bite must save me, or that this sip must wake me, loses its mask, not by might, not by chemical, not by personal will, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. Rest here until the heart loosens its hold on the cup and holds God alone. Now we speak truth to appearance without quarreling. There is no power in food to bless or to harm. Disease is not a power, neither is diet. Caffeine is not a power, neither is lack. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Life is in God, nourishment is spirit expressing his order in the body. The thing is a form, the cause is one. The only reason a meal seems to rule us is the acceptance of a second power. Withdraw that consent. Return to the single government of love. When the hush has sealed the promise, receive simply. Take the sip as witness to grace, not as a beggar of effects. Take the bite as sacrament in the temple of the living God, your very awareness of presence. Feel quiet strength descend like a soft robe over the shoulders. I will never leave you nor forsake you. In him we live and move and have our being. Drink from overflow, not from fear. Eat from blessing, not from lack. If a thought of craving, guilt, or calculation presses in, answer with silence and the refrain, God is the only power. Your cup runs over. If others sit with you, let the atmosphere feed them as the plate. Bless the hands that prepared, not as causes, but as avenues of one. He satisfies my mouth with good things. Open wide, and I will fill it today. Before the meeting begins, before the reply forms in the throat, before the heat of a conflict presses you to speak, let there be a holy arrest. Do not answer out of habit. Do not defend out of fear. Close the lips, lower the inner noise, and remember, speech is strongest when it rises from silence. This is our doorway. The tongue is not our instrument. It is the transparency through which presence may sound. If the room waits, let it wait upon God. If seconds stretch, let them stretch around the sanctuary within. You lose nothing by pausing. You gain reality. You yield the floor to the one who never stumbles. Right here, at the rim of a sentence, we choose government pressure or peace. God is the only power. Make the promise the bracket, then be still. It is the Father within that does the works. Be not afraid. Now hush. 10 to 20 seconds. 2 or 3 simple breaths. Set a watch, O Lord, before my mouth. Keep the door of my lips. Withdraw the hand of will. Let the need to be right fade. Let the wish to persuade grow quiet. I and the Father are one. The Spirit of God is upon me. In this hush, Recognize that no voice in the room is a second power. No accusation, no urgency has causation. Only God acts. Only grace reveals. The seal is placed not by another sentence, but by this inward consent, this soft, fearless listening. Then, if a word rises, it carries the weight of stillness without weight at all. A soft answer turneth away wrath. Clarity without force appears. The tone lowers of itself. The face softens. My doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me. Open thou my lips, and my mouth shall show forth thy praise. We are not using silence to manipulate outcomes. We are letting God be God in speech. If nothing rises, let your silence be your word, or speak only a question that unveils the heart, authority without heat, light without glare, peace. Be still, first to the sea within, and then the outer waters remember their source. Before you brief a team, before you say yes or no, before you press send, close lips and return for 10 heartbeats, be still within. The complaint loses its teeth in that interval. The praise loses its flattery and becomes gratitude. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. God is the only power. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Speak fewer words than thought needed. Let speech be seasoned with grace. If you are led to defer, defer. If to stop, stop. If to bless, bless. Mid-afternoon, the shoulders fall, the mind grows cottony, the hand reaches for a stimulant, or the heart for escape. Pause here. Do not brace against the tide. Cease striving. Let this slump become an altar. God is the only power. There are not two powers contending in you. Spirit on one side, fatigue on the other. The only struggle is the belief in a second cause. Lay down the weapons of will and hurry. You are not duty pressed upon dust. You are presence appearing as this hour. Be gentle with yourself, because the life in you is God's life, inexhaustible, already here. Bracket the moment with promise, then let silence do the work. Whisper within, my grace is sufficient for thee. He restores my soul. Do not add another sentence. Close the eyes if you can. If not, soften the gaze. 10 to 20 seconds, 2 or 3 unforced breaths in which you do nothing but rest in I am. The power of God is made manifest in the silence after the word, not by might, not by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. Renewal comes by resting in the one, not by efforting against the second power. In him you live and move and have your being, even at a desk. Now, with the mind cleared of argument, we deny the masquerade without a quarrel. Fatigue is not a power. Sugar and caffeine are not powers. Deadlines are not a power. God is the only power. The spirit within you is the well that never runs dry. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. Come unto me, and I will give you rest. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. This body is a servant, not a sovereign. It answers to the governance of one. This awareness is the temple of the living God, closer than breath. When the hush has sealed the promise, do not surge. Resume from rest. Accept one gentle given action and one. Perhaps you stand and stretch as a prayer. Perhaps you sip water as a sacrament. Perhaps you take the next right task, not the loudest, because grace chooses it. Let the Father within do the works. Your yoke is easy, your burden is light, because you are not dragging a second power behind you. If heaviness whispers again, do not wrestle. Return to the bracket. My grace is sufficient. He restores my soul, and be still. Silence will carry the rest of the hour. No weapon formed against thee shall prosper. God is the only power, and rest reveals it. And so it is. Walk on in quiet strength. Amen. Now we come to the quiet return. Screens down, lights low. The heart turns home. We are not winding down as persons. We are returning consciously to the source from which the morning rose. The day passes like a river into the sea. God is the only power. The same presence that opened the eyes at dawn receives the evening without strain. Make this your promise at the threshold of night. Lo, I am with you always. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Whisper it once, tenderly, and then be very still. 10, 20 seconds, 2 or 3 easy breaths in which you let the word descend from sound to life. No managing. The power of God is made manifest in the silence that follows the word. Right here, where you are, is the temple of the living God closer than breath. Let the brow unknit. Let love be the atmosphere. Now, if memories rise, let them pass through the light. Review lightly, as one looking at clouds from the mountain. Release praise and blame alike. Do not clutch at success. Do not wrestle with failure. Lay both in the one. Cast your burden upon the Lord, and he will sustain you. Not by might, not by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. Return every appearance to the government of love. God is the only power. Surrender the night to God. Commend body, room, and house to the keeping of spirit. Thou, Lord, only makest me dwell in safety. He shall give his angels charge over thee. Fear of darkness is not a power. Dreams are not a power. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. Be still and know that I am God. Let the hush place the seal upon the promise. Even in sleep you do not depart from that which is life itself. In him we live and move and have our being, waking and sleeping. If I take the wings of the morning or make my bed in the depths, thou art there. You cannot go anywhere to find it, nor can you go anywhere to leave it. Awareness may dim, but presence does not dim. The shepherd keeps watch while the sheep rest. If you wake in the night, repeat the promise and enter the hushed 10 heartbeats, soft consent. Do not argue with noise or thought. Let the river carry them. The day begins and ends in the same presence. Lay the head upon the pillow as upon the breast of God. I lay me down in peace and sleep. I will never leave you nor forsake you. I am with you always. Rest now. The silence will do the work. Now we weave what seems 7 strands into one thread, and one thread into a seamless garment. Doorway to doorway, cup to screen, hallway to pillar one, presence moving. It is not a patchwork we sew. It is a robe waiting in the closet of the heart. Put it on by remembrance. God is the only power. The pauses were not ends, they were openings where the river showed. The river itself never stopped. In him we live and move and have our being. The power of God is made manifest in the silence that follows the word. Therefore, continuity is born not of effort, but of yielded intervals until the intervals touch and mingle and the hush becomes atmosphere. Let ordinary things ring like bells. A door handle glints, remember, closer than breath. A cup warms the palm, remember, closer than breath. This is the practice map turned into a living walk. Speak the promise. Wait. Let the seal be placed in silence. I and the Father are one. Hush. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Hush. The Spirit of God is upon me. 10 or 20 seconds, 2 or 3 gentle breaths, and the promise descends from letter to life. Not by might, not by power, but by my Spirit. The mind need not cling. The heart need only consent. The temple of the living God goes with you because you are its awareness. You will forget. The old undertow will tug. Do not make a second power of forgetting. Return. The prodigal turns, and the father runs. A bruised reed shall he not break. Grace meets you at the very spot you remember. Whisper the promise once and rest. If you miss the hallway, take the doorknob. If you miss the email, take the next breath. If you miss the cup, take the step. Always there is another threshold. I will never leave you nor forsake you. The seal is placed in silence, and the sense of separation loosens. Gentle, steady, merciful, this is the way. Tiny obediences, repeated, become habit of holiness. Drops become brooks, brooks a river. The river finds the sea. The pauses mature into felt continuity, and continuity ripens into dominion. Peace begins to precede you. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow, thou art with me. The robe of spirit fits. The armor of light needs no clatter. Speech rises from silence. Work flows without strain. Rest deepens. Gratitude becomes native air, not by arguing with appearances, but by living under one. God is the only power. Keep the thread, and the day will show itself as one unbroken Amen forever. Now we close not with argument, but with invitation to proof. Recognition makes a student. Demonstration makes a practitioner. To recognize that God is the only power is holy. To let that truth walk the street as your calm, your mercy, that is the work. And the way is simple. We have spoken our promises. We have learned the hush that follows. Let your day be the proving ground. The power of God is made manifest in the silence that follows the word. Be not afraid, the Father that dwelleth in you, he doeth the works. Keep for a little while a humble log of grace, not to boast, but to notice. This morning, peace in the inbox, where dread once sat at noon. A softened word where heat once rose. Between doors, right timing appeared, a waiting elevator, a chance kindness, a path opened without push. Before coffee, gratitude without dependence. Mid-afternoon, strength by resting in the one, not by flight. Tonight, the river of memories passing in light. These are not accidents. They are signs that belief in two powers has loosened, and the one has been allowed to govern. Never forget, there is no such thing anywhere at any time as an evil force or evil power. Disease is not a power. Deadlines are not a power. Tempers, cravings, fatigue, none of these can create or compel. Only belief lends them shadow. Release belief in silence, and shadow dissolves before the Sunday. Be still, and know that I am God. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. I and the Father are one. Make with me a covenant. Keep these 7 pauses daily. Do not neglect the seal of quiet after the promise. 2 or 3 easy breaths, 10 heartbeats of surrender at every threshold. Not by might, not by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. Let the word enter, and then stand aside. My word shall not return unto me void. The silence will do the work. Persevere gently, day after day, never skipping a day. Let the presence prove itself as supply, safety, wisdom, and rest. Walk robed in spirit, clad in the armor of light, not against an enemy, but as the radiance of one. This is the temple of the living God. This is your identity. Closer than breath, nearer than hands and feet. I will never leave you nor forsake you. In him you live and move and have your being. And I bless you. God is the only power. May the hush seal you. You shall not want. Go in peace. Carry the refrain. God is the only power. Keep the covenant until waking, and waking again, until the pauses blend into one continuous stillness. Let your day be the proof silence seals what words begin, and so it is. Amen.